I'm going to be very honest right now. And I think, again, it's easier for me to say because neither school is an alma mater for me. I could care less. But Michigan fans and Michigan State fans should both chill the hell out. Didn't we sit up here on Friday or even Monday of last week and we talked about Michigan and Michigan State fans, their reactions, what's ahead of you? Michigan fans, from our perspective, should be calm. Go handle business against Indiana.
Yep.
Go beat Penn State. Go beat Maryland on the road. And if you do that, destiny's in front of you. Ohio State, 10-1, entering the last game of the year. You can decide whether or not you could potentially be playing in Indianapolis. The same thing applies to Michigan State. Their downfall, unfortunately, was they could only afford technically one loss. And that would have been to Ohio State. And then if Michigan would have beaten Ohio State, the head-to-heads, I'm not sure how it all would have worked, but everyone needs to chill the hell out. And Michigan fans should shut the hell up. You were 4 points worse than this Michigan State football team. I don't get it. You're happy that they lost to Purdue, who upset the number 2 Iowa and now upset the number 3 Michigan State. I get it. Fan bases, banter.
Yeah.
But that doesn't make you or your football team any better. Michigan State losing to Purdue? Welcome to college football. Nobody, if ever, rarely happens in the Big Ten outside Ohio State, runs the table in the Big Ten. Losses are available for every team this year, and it's happened for the last 10, 15, 20 years. The losses are always there. Now, can Michigan State recover? Big game now against Ohio State, then Penn State. They have a tough upcoming schedule. But welcome to the Big Ten. This is why I like a one-loss Michigan State team, a one-loss Michigan team over a lot of these teams right now in the bubble outside of the top 8, top 10. You got to play somebody. And if Purdue beat Michigan State, which they did, well, you know what? Kudos to Purdue. They're 6-3. They should be ranked in the top 25 after that win. Impressive win. And you move on. But Michigan right now, your only hope is for you to take care of business and shut the hell up. If you can walk into Ann Arbor 10-1 and you can somehow beat Ohio State and move on to 11-1, well, there's a really good chance that you're playing in Indianapolis and you're making a college football playoff appearance likely.
Yeah.
But you still have to go on the road and beat Penn State. You haven't been able to beat ranked teams on the road. You have to go and beat Maryland on the road. And then you get to come back home and play Ohio State, a team that you haven't beaten ever under Harbaugh. So how about pump the brakes a little bit, Michigan fans? I get it. You're happy they lost. It opens up your field to play on how to get to Indianapolis. Absolutely. Absolutely. There's a lot of things that could happen. I could name you a ton of scenarios that could play out. That benefit Michigan and Michigan State. If State wins this weekend, but then they lose to Penn State, but Michigan beats Penn State and then lose to Ohio State, I mean, so many things can still happen. Yeah. There's so many outcomes on the table that I think both fan bases need to chill out. The loss to Purdue, it's a loss, yes. Is it a bad loss? To an extent, yes. But Michigan has a good loss. It's against a good Michigan State team. Where's the problem here? Am I missing something?
No, you're not missing anything. And the more important thing is, for Michigan fans, I think they're probably more stressed out than State fans. I mean, State fans understand the fact that, a lot of people understood that Purdue pass-heavy offense and MSU secondary has been exposed, parts of this season so far. So they've shown to be fragile. And you have a guy for Purdue and Aiden O'Connell who threw for 536 yards, 3 touchdowns. I mean, they passed the ball, man. And Michigan State, their secondary just couldn't keep up. I think that was really the main thing. I mean, they were missing Jalen Naylor. He was out. He left early with the Michigan game. He had the cast on his wrist, and he wasn't available for this game. They were heavy relying on Jaden Reed, and so it really comes down to they weren't 100% healthy, and their secondary has been shown against better teams. Like, this is what worries me about State, and I said this. They're going to play Penn State and they're going to play Ohio State. I sat up here and I said even a week ago, I don't know if they can beat both those teams, because as much as I love State, we can all mutually agree they are overachieving this year greatly. They beat Michigan, which was probably their biggest check mark of the entire season. I mean, if they beat Ohio State, that's one hell of an accomplishment. But more importantly, they beat Michigan. They got the job done. Mel Tucker, He's solidified in East Lansing. Now you lose to Purdue. Now you're 8-1. It's no big deal, man. I mean, this is a loss, and you expected them for them to go undefeated all the way into the Penn State game and the Ohio State game. If they have 2 losses on their record, that's incredibly overachieving, especially for Mel Tucker. So I'm not surprised. I am surprised, how competitive they kept it. Michigan State was able to score pretty much in every quarter. They missed the extra points early on the board, but they just couldn't stop Purdue in their pass offense, and that's really what it came down to. I mean, it's Michigan fans are preying on these losses, and I get it, but is it right?
They shouldn't talk right now because you have the same record and they beat you head to head. So shut up.
And you got Penn State next week for Michigan. It's tough,
Big games coming up. Michigan go on the road at Penn State. Michigan State play Ohio State.
Yeah.
There's a ton of big games coming up. But I don't think it was that Purdue exposed Michigan State. If anything, Cade McNamara, who has been god-awful 8 of the 9 games for Michigan this year, went off against Michigan State.
Right. That was almost like it was hinting at it a little bit.
It showed you that, oh, wait, there are deficiencies here.
Yeah.
And Purdue, let's be honest, they have the wide receiving core to take advantage of the secondary. That was a big concern, which is why there was so much money on Purdue on the upset and why the game was so close in Vegas. They knew. And Purdue came out and they exposed Michigan State's secondary. And that's the reality.
Yeah.
Is there something I'm completely forgetting about? I don't think so. Michigan State secondary is a weakness.
Yeah.
If Cade McNamara could torch them, my goodness, C.J. Stroud and even Penn State are going to go off. Good luck stopping Dotson. Good luck.
Yeah.
So it's really a tough road ahead for both teams. We'll break down the games in a little bit, but look, my weekend takeaway for the fan bases is if you're Michigan, nothing changed. Nothing changed. This is the week where you can talk to me.
Yeah, they got the job done. They beat Indiana. Now they have to get the job done.
They took care of business
this week.
Go beat Penn State. You beat Penn State, believe me, I will sit up here and I will say Michigan can go to Indianapolis, but you got to beat Penn State. You have to. Cade McNamara throwing the dink and dunks. It works. It works when you play Indiana.
And Blake Corum's out.
And now Blake Corum, we don't know how long he's going to be out.
Yeah.
But if Cade McNamara can duplicate the Michigan State performance to an extent, this is a team that can go far. Do I think he can do that? No. But I think he has to now. If Blake Corum is going to miss the next 2-3 weeks, you don't have a choice but to drop back 28, 32, 35 times. Yeah. You have to. And whether or not you have to mix in J.J. McCarthy, I don't know. But this is your offense moving forward. You have to. You're not going to give the ball to Hassan Haskins 30 times and expect him to go for 170.
Yeah.
Against Indiana, it works. It's been the same story all year, guys. And what happened against State? You were able to expose their secondary. But what happened in the fourth quarter? You got tight. State didn't, and they won the game. Cade McNamara couldn't make the throws. Peyton Thorne did. End of story. That's your season so far.